Welcome to Pastor's Chat today. We're looking at Luke chapter 18, and today specifically verses 35 through 43, the last verses of the chapter. Jesus began this chapter by teaching about prayer. Men ought always to pray and not to faint. He gave us several stories about praying, and especially the story of the two people that came to pray, the Pharisee and the publican. And of course the publican just smote his breast, "I'm be merciful to me a sinner." And Jesus said he went home justified. Now as he ends this chapter, Luke points out a certain man who was a beggar and who was blind, who came to Jesus. Let's read these wonderful verses. "Then it happened, as he was coming near Jericho, that a certain blind man sat by the road begging, and hearing a multitude passing by, he asked what it meant. So they told him that Jesus of Nazareth was passing by. And he cried out, saying, 'Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me.' Then those who went before warned him that he should be quiet. But he cried out the more, 'Son of David, have mercy on me.' So Jesus stood still and commanded him to be brought to him. And when he had come near, Jesus asked him, saying, 'What do you want me to do for you?' And he said, 'Lord, that I may receive my sight.' Then Jesus said to him, 'Receive your sight. Your faith has made you well.' And immediately he received his sight and followed him, glorifying God. And all the people, when they saw it, gave praise to God." Now, in this chapter, we've seen contrast between different people and situations. And of course, here we see the contrast between this beggar who was blind and the rich man who came to Jesus. Now, Matthew's gospel tells us there was two beggars, and also Mark's gospel tells us there were two beggars. But it appears to me, as I read through the book of Luke, the gospel of Luke, Luke loves to point out how Jesus is interested in the individual. So it didn't matter if there's 100 sheep, he's interested in one. There are 10 pieces of silver, there's one. There's two sons, there's one. There's two beggars, but here in Luke's gospel, there's one. God's interested in you. He knows your need. He wants you to cry out to him. And if there's anything you seem to learn about prayer in this chapter, men ought always to pray. We're not to pray like the Pharisee, but we're also to pray how? We come desperately to Jesus. The rich young ruler came and he thought well of himself and kind of bragged about his goodness. This beggar wouldn't be quiet when he heard that Jesus was passing by. He was desperate for his need to be healed, and he would cry and cry out, and people said, "Be quiet." Isn't that interesting? That's the other thing you learn from this chapter. The widow that he tells about in the first verses of the chapter, the judge wouldn't listen to her, but that didn't matter. She kept crying out. The beggar, even though the people are telling him to be quiet, he cries out anyway. I love the contrast you see here, and we're encouraged to cry out in desperation. And when we do, "And you shall seek me," the scripture says, "and find me when you have searched for me with all your heart." That's how you come to Jesus. That's how you come in faith, believing. This man was blind. He acknowledged he was blind. He had no special merits to cry out and say, "Oh, I've been good, I've done this." He had nothing. He came empty and he went away rich. The rich man came very rich and he left eternally poor. My friend, there's so much we learn from this. And I encourage you today. You might feel like you have nothing. You have no merits to come to Christ. You've lived a life that merits none of his grace. But you can come in your desperation. And I want to tell you, I know one thing over my years of ministry, and God hears the prayers of desperate people. And honestly, I don't know if that we really pray until we get desperate. And then the fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much. Why? Because we meet Jesus where he is and we cry out to him. Oh, what a wonderful story to end this chapter with. This man left rejoicing and the people were praising God. The rich man left very sad and sorrowful. Oh, don't leave that way. My friend, come to Jesus, meet him, have your life changed, him give you your sight. What can I do for you? Jesus said, oh, I want to receive my sight. And God made him point out his need, and Jesus met that need right where he was. I trust that you'll trust the Lord today to meet your need. God bless you, and you have a wonderful, wonderful day.